most recent one. First of all, I just want to make some comments here, but the design standards, I know the initial intent was to deal with form, how things look. But in a design standards situation, we're also looking at how does things function. And so, you know, it could be a separate thing, but it really seems like we want to design things that, what happened? Switched around.
Yeah, it could be closer to the microphone, Mike.
Design standards can also help improve how things function as well.
You talk into the mic. Mike,
Oh,
Mike.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Take it with you.
I'm
There you
used to
go.
walking around a classroom.
Thank you.
Okay, so good, thanks, Randy. So, and this is the point here. First of all, and Mr. Zappa, Attorney Zappa, talked about throwing out the bathwater. I want each board member to look at the 5 babies that were in that bathtub, okay? And there may be one that we need to throw out, but I hope you consider the other 4, okay? And due to Mr. Zappa's opinion, we're going to throw out one of those 5 babies. We realize that we don't want that to happen. So, but the key is with this walkability, this helps us. We're talking about dark stores and loss of revenue, but we're also talking about how do we encourage people to come to our township. Well, there's a lot of research out there that shows what people want, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. This is some new information. Next, please. This is something actually Jason McCarthy gave to me on Monday, this booklet, and found it. And this is from the Urban Land Institute. And they did a survey, and it's not just about walkways, it's about views on housing, transportation, and community. Next, please. And in there, and this is their final results, so this is what they said, people want a quality environment. It's the top reason that people move to places, and that's what they want. Next one is how walkable a neighborhood or a community is, including sidewalk, pedestrian crosswalks, and so forth is a top high priority. One more, please. And having public transport, and I know we have a board member that's on the MarkTran board and working on that. So these are 3 areas that this whole study did that found that this is what people want. Next, please. They also looked at different age groups. The millennials down here, they're the ones that are the highest educated group right now. They have a lot of school debt. They would rather spend money on housing than on transportation, and they're moving into urban areas. Next, please. It also shows that 50% of the people say walkability is a top or high priority in considering where to live. This is just 48% of the people believe that their communities need more bike lanes. Next, please. 25% of the people say that traffic makes it unsafe to walk in their community. Next, please. 52% of Americans would like to live in a place where they do not need to use a car very often. Next, please. And I'm going to just read this to you. There's a workshop that's available on this in case any of the board members, planning commissioners would like to attend this. It says 50% of U.S. residents say that walkability is a top priority or a high priority when considering where to live. According to the Urban Land Institute's America in 2015 report, local officials have the power to increase opportunities for walking and improve pedestrian experience by designing and maintaining communities and streets that make them safe and accessible for all ages and abilities. Walkable communities are the foundation of placemaking. That means having sidewalks, trails, bike routes, and more. Next, please. This is a presentation I did to the Planning Commission on the 28th. I know Pete LaRue was able to be there, and also Treasurer Johnson was able to be there, but the rest of the board hasn't seen this, and I just want to go through this real quick. Next. This is our master plan, and this is our guide, and we should be following this. Next. What we do, and I was a former planning commissioner for 9 years, and one of the things that we, as a planning commissioner, you really need to look at what are the best practices? What are the best things we can be doing for the future of our community? Next, please. Well, one of those was the 10 tenets of smart growth. Next. And another one was complete streets. And I'm going to just show you a little bit of progress bringing home here and what we've done here in our township. Next, please. We developed this. The Planning Commission took this on, and there were 5 planning commissioners at the time, still are. And each one of the planning commissioners took 2 of the 10 tenets and researched that, and together we agreed that this was a good best practice, following these things. This has been in existence for like over 30 years in Europe, and it's a good guide. Next, please. Now, can you go back this one? I just want to point out that one of them is create walkable neighborhoods. So you can see we've got a sign to that. Next, please. And these are the other parts of the 10 smart growth tenets. Next, please. What we did now, when we looked at complete streets, we did a survey. First of all, we looked at this. This is Ellen Sargent, Judy Boyle, Lynn Durant, Steve Pelto, and myself. And we looked at each one of these things and discussed it at length at the Planning Commission. Next, please. We also did a survey with the board, the Planning Commission, the Road Committee, and the Rec Committee. And you'll see those. That's the board, PC, Planning Commission, RE, Rec Committee, RO, Road Committee, PC. And I want to point out, right here, 100% of the board at the time agreed with that statement. So what we did, next please, is we included it in the master plan. And we included smart growth, and we also included complete streets. Next please. And we were the first township. I know you've heard this before, but it's, we're progressive township, and I don't think we want to lose that edge. But we were the first township in the Upper Peninsula to adopt complete streets ordinance. Forward thinking. Next. Just real quickly, this is the survey. There's a lot of information in there. We've been trying to address roads, which were definitely a top priority. One of the things, next please. Just shows, in recreation, we're looking at these, what the citizens want. We're focused on those. Next, please. And even in the rec plan, our new rec plan, next, please. We show that we want to, first goal in there is to develop this network of connected bike paths and pedestrian paths. Next, please. In 2018, and now we're looking at 2019 and maybe 2021, but we'd like to put an underpass under US 41, Chocolate Township pass. We want to facilitate, we'd like to connect the NTN North trails up in Forestville at their trailhead to the Iron Ore Heritage Trail, and then you go down Iron Ore Heritage Trail, and we're going to hear, we've already heard a report about South Vandenboom, go down South Vandenboom to connect to the South Marquette trails. So that's part of the vision. Next, please. Even in our old rec plan, or former rec plan, next, please, we see that we're compared to need of trails. National benchmark average is 68%, but here in Marquette, 81% of the people would like to see more trails. Next, please. This is, and we've been working on this for a long time. This comes from 2007. This is actually, yeah, this is here at Carlstrom, and we had a Trails and Greenways committee that was a subcommittee of the Road Rec Committee, and put together a lot of this back then. Planning, we've been planning this for a long time. Next, please. Here's some more planning, and this is where the possible underpass is at this time that we're hoping that will be considered, and then we'll see that in the Brinkerhoff report. Next, please. Again, this shows this connection, but part of this is no one's going to fund. We've got to look at MDOT for grants. We have to look at MNRTF for grants. We have to look at Passport for grants. and other sources, but they're not going to approve any kind of grants. And we talk about sidewalks to nowhere. Well, this would be an underpass to nowhere if we don't have sidewalks or pedestrian pathways on both sides of this. Now, we've pretty much got this figured out because we purchased this land, and hopefully everything on this side is going to be okay. But what happens over here is still up in the air. Next, please. This is just safe routes to school planning. You can see we've got plans over here, but this is a rapidly developing area. This area right now is the most expensive area in the Upper Peninsula, and Steve Pelt confirmed that when I did this presentation. So it's very expensive here, and walkways that are only going to enhance the development in that area. Also, I'm going to mention Dave Wiegand here because he also figured out that it was going to cost about 0.3 to 0.4% if businesses put the walkways in at the time of development. So a $5 million building, and whatever 0.3 of that is, less than 0.5%. But anyways, next please. And again, just going back to the rec committee and what we've been able to do here in this community. I know we've had almost $400,000 in amenities. Now, some of those are already in place. Some are going to take place next year. But in the end, the township has paid 16% of the total cost of this. Now, I realize that money's not there anymore because of dark store tax tribunal issues. And I know that, and it's been suggested by some board members, Mr. Tari, and I think Pete just mentioned it, or Mr. LaRue, we're going to have to possibly look at a recreation millage. But for right now, but anyway, so we're going to have to look how we're going to come up with match money for the grants that we're going to write. But you can see that it's a tremendous benefit. And one thing, I'm going to talk a little bit more about grants in a minute, but it's a tremendous asset to be able to bring state money in to use for our community. Next, please. Now, this is a part, remember there's 5 babies in this bathwater. And as far as I understand, and Attorney Zappa, correct me if I'm wrong, there's really only one of those 5 babies that really needs to be thrown out. But Michigan, we've written 3 of these grants, and they've been successful. We also wrote a passport grant, too. So there's 4 grants that we were involved in that picture. But this is the most difficult grant to get, state grant. And next, please. One of the things that these grants, or any state grant, is going to require is the ADA compatibility and universal design. And that helps us as grant writers, or helps all of us in being able to find the funds through grants by, including this type of language and also the design of whatever we do in this town. In searching this document, this comes from the grant booklet, and looks like there's 60 pages in this grant booklet. But when I did a search for ADA, there's 23 matches. It's listed in there, and that's how important, not just the language, but the actual design of using ADA and universal design. That's how important it is to us, and that's one of the babies in this bathwater. Next, please. So are we going to, your decision tonight, are we going to be able to apply for state grants by including ADA compliance and universal design? Next, please. Where are we going to find the funding? Now that dark stores have taken money from us, it'd be nice to see them invest in the community that they're going to do business in, but that's a wishful thing, and apparently we can't make them do that. Next, please. And finally, you know, one of the things is if we could get business to work with us on this and do this, it'll certainly make this vision of a walkable community occur a lot sooner. So, and the more, you know, especially, you know, businesses that come in here and want to make money here, it'd be nice if they invested in their community and help this happen sooner. Next. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
But, you know, when you look at these, and Mr. Wiegand's going to talk more about the text and importance, and when you look at these, remember there's 5 babies in this bathwater. One of them definitely needs to be thrown out based on Attorney Zappa's comments. Really like you to look at the other 4 and really consider having those as part of the ordinance.